Hello, everyone. This is Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Welcome to the One Bitcoin Show. Today is December the 16th. 2018. What does this shirt say? Strong hand, long-term thinking, unconfiscatable, in motion. Personal responsibility is a new counterculture. Okay, everybody, check out the links below. Everything I talk about is linked to below. Get your t-shirts linked to below. Remember, follow me on Twitter at TechBalt, TechBalt, and go to disruptmeister.com to watch all my old videos. All right, so let's start off with it's very late at night here in Tel Aviv. It's 3:20 in the morning, but my sleeping schedule still is not back to normal. I actually went running after midnight tonight through the streets of Tel Aviv. Quite an experience, a peaceful experience. But before that, I was at the Tel Aviv Bitcoin embassy, where I've been there 3 different times now, and I'm going to be there many more times during my visit here. And some of my favorite people from the Tel Aviv Bitcoin embassy, they returned. They were there. It was great to see them, and it was great to meet some new people. Now, of course, the last time I was at the Tel Aviv Bitcoin embassy, it was November of 2017. So it was wild. I mean, that was when the price was going up, and so there were lines. It was craziness. So tonight, there were quite a few people there tonight, not as many. And there wasn't these were the hardcore people. These were the strong hand people. No one talking about ICOs or anything this time. There was one guy, though, that liked SV from what I heard, but I didn't get to talk to that one guy. But everybody else is a pretty huge, basically a Bitcoin maximalist type of people. Not maximalist per se, but big Bitcoin fans. So these people are up to a lot of good things here in Tel Aviv. One thing they wanted me to talk about is, it's something I think we're going to hear a lot more about soon all over the world. January the 3rd, 2019 is a Thursday night, and that is the 10-year anniversary of Bitcoin. And so there are going to be a lot of parties all over the planet, and there's going to be a really big party here in Tel Aviv. And apparently, I didn't know about it then. I walked in, they tell me there's going to be a party. They hand me the flyer, and we got to talking, and because we're all in motion, it'll probably be live streamed, or part of it will be live streamed here. I'm going to live stream some stuff from the Bitcoin embassy. I have an old video that I did in May of 2017 from the Bitcoin embassy. But the Bitcoin embassy in Tel Aviv, it is a really big thing. And this community in Tel Aviv is huge. The Bitcoin community here is one of the larger or more passionate ones that I've experienced anywhere on the planet. And again, their Bitcoin, anybody can hang out at this Bitcoin embassy. It's just a place to hang out. It's actually right next to the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange, amazingly enough. So it's prime real estate. It's only a few blocks away from where I'm staying. So anyway, here's it's all in Hebrew here, this flyer. I don't know Adam has been on this show before. Adam Perlow, this is his last name. He's of Zen or whatever. He's one of the sponsors of this party. Hopefully he'll come back on the show soon. I got to he wasn't there tonight at the embassy, but at the Bitcoin embassy, they run their own Lightning node there. You can use the Lightning Network to buy tickets to this event. I mean, so they're up on the Bitcoin stuff over there. I mean, they're in the Lightning Network. I mean, that's running their own Lightning node. When I walked in, I recognized one of the ladies there, and she was happy that I remembered her. She gave me a back massage as I spoke to everyone there. It was great. I mean, I was treated very nicely. Thank you, Pinky, for that back massage. That was great, and a very, very smart woman. And again, there were here at the Bitcoin embassy in Tel Aviv. The percentage of women is a little higher than many of the places I've traveled. Like in Alberta, not too many women into Bitcoin. It's about the average, the 5%. Here it was, maybe 10% of the people at the Bitcoin embassy were women, maybe more. But and one of the ladies there that I talked to, her name's and she wanted me to check out her YouTube page. And it's not just her; it's another lady and maybe a few guys run this. I linked to it below. It's called Uncentered TV. So their YouTube page, I mean, it's pretty new, and they got fancy sets and graphics. And half of you people out there just want to see women anyway. So go to their site. go to their YouTube page, subscribe to them. They're smart women who know about Bitcoin. Actually, they're not doing it because they're trying to be cooler. I mean, they like this stuff. They had some, they were talking to me about some interesting things over there. And hey, she's a married lady. Don't hit on her or anything like that. But still, some of you guys want to say whatever. But I linked to the Bitcoin. The Bitcoin Embassy is linked to below also. So what else do I have to say about it? Yeah, it was a fun time. And Sarah was there also. Sarah is someone she's working on this party. It's going to be a good time. But all of you all over the world are going to have your own parties too. So let's see who has the biggest party on January 3rd. It is a Thursday night. And in Israel, many people don't work on Friday. So it's really their weekend sort of starts on Thursday night. And throughout the United States, people are such big drinkers that their weekends start on Thursday night anyway, and they go back to work on Friday. In college, of course, when you're in college, your weekend starts on Thursday night. I could tell you stories from my WashU days when I valued my wealth in things other than Bitcoin. Definitely pound that like fun. Okay, so yeah, I told you, Tel Aviv people, I would give you some nice shout outs tonight, and it's great. The Bitcoin Embassy is there's not many places like it on this planet in terms of Bitcoin, like real places you can hang out and talk about Bitcoin. And there's a Bitcoin ATM there. Again, they got a Lightning node there, Lightning Network node there. That's awesome. So yeah, there'll be more about them soon, and yeah, all sorts of stuff linked to below about them. And all right, so let's move on here. Gab. I've talked about Gab before, and Gab has this tweet out there. It was the social media people that are getting blacklisted and stuff. And Bitcoin is the clear solution. Gab has an incredible opportunity to educate and introduce close to 1 million people and growing to free speech money, Bitcoin. We aren't doing it because it's hip or cool or the latest technology fad. We are doing it out of necessity. And I think that last part really sums up the future of some of these platforms and people out there in terms of their acceptance of Bitcoin. Gab didn't want to get into Bitcoin. They have to get into Bitcoin. This is the only way they're going to be able to fund themselves. Okay, so they are starting to talk about this tweet. I think this is a very powerful tweet because they appeal to a lot of people who think Bitcoin's a conspiracy or is the NSA controls Bitcoin. This is an endorsement, kind of waking some people up who are I don't know, who look for a boogeyman behind everything. Okay, this is some serious stuff here. Now, again, they're plenty of normal people on Gab too, and there's many people on Gab who would never have heard of Bitcoin before. So this is good. So let's kind of contrast this with Dave Rubin and Jordan Peterson have a video that just came out, and I just watched it tonight. And I praised Dave Rubin for listing his Bitcoin address. And that was a good first step. But it appears from this video, and so they're angry. Dave Rubin and Jordan Peterson don't like what Patreon is doing. That Patreon kicked off Sargon of Akkad, and obviously they know that they can get kicked off. They raise a lot of money from Patreon, both Dave Rubin and Jordan Peterson. So Peterson's solution it appears is they're going to create their own version of Patreon. Now, they didn't straight up say, you watch the video, you tell me what you think. I linked to the video below. You tell me what you think they're going to do. They didn't mention crypto at all. So maybe there's a slim chance that their own version of Patreon is going to involve crypto. If it doesn't, this is just a step, a useless step in between ending up at Bitcoin. Gab is ending up at Gab already knows what the end game is. You end up at Bitcoin. These guys are going to end up with Bitcoin too. If they create their own version of Patreon, it'll get shut down. It'll get blacklisted. Something will, or the banks won't want to work with them. Credit cards won't want to work with them. They'll find out the hard way. Okay, the easy solution for them right now is to go listen to what Gab is saying and just to list Bitcoin addresses and start talking about Bitcoin more, and people will support them that way. But it appears that they're going to set their own. They're going to have their own Patreon company, maybe the intellectual dark web Patreon people. I don't know. It's ludicrous. It's centralized. It will be shut down. It will be payment processors won't want to work with them eventually. Maybe not eventually. Maybe right after they start. So they should learn from Gab and get on the Bitcoin and pound that like button. So yeah, pound that like button. Okay. By the way, I forgot to mention, you can. This Week in Bitcoin was on Friday. It was a good show. It was just Simon Dixon. He was the only one on my show. So a lot of people like when Simon Dixon comes. It was a very, very good show. He mentioned Kim.com. I hadn't heard about that for a while. And I'm going to, Kim.com was going to be the savior of Bitcoin back in late 2016. And then he disappeared. Well, he never got his, well, he's working on his project. I'm never going to say never about him. But the trend of Kim.com going to save the Bitcoin, going to promote that disappeared very quickly in early 2017. A lot of you weren't even around then, so you don't know what the heck I'm even talking about. But Simon mentioned that, and I actually, Kim.com has a site, k.im. And then, of course, yesterday's show was the Beyond Bitcoin show. It seems like it's weird. It was my 37th episode of the Beyond Bitcoin show, which means I've done it for 37 weeks in a row. And there were still a few people like, why aren't you talking about Bitcoin? Yeah, if you don't get it yet, I don't know if you're going to get it. On the Beyond Bitcoin show, I talk about subject matters that go way beyond Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Some politics gets thrown in there, travel, health tips. It's called Beyond Bitcoin. I mean, I kind of thought the title self-explanatory. I mean, again, there was a person like, why isn't he talking about Bitcoin? It's once a week, guys. Once a week, Saturday. You don't have to, and not everybody watches it. Some people really like it. They like to know my personal life and stuff. And that's great. I mean, that's cool. I have fun doing the show. I have fun doing the Saturday show a lot. I really do. You can tell I'm talking about all sorts of wild stuff gets brought up. You never know. That's the show I hope my mother never watches. I hope she does. I hope she didn't watch some of those from the past. Oh my God. Pound that like button. The hope that my mother didn't watch some of those shows. All right. So let us move on. So who is this? I got a tweet from Crypto Shilnai. This guy's funny sometimes. He says, the greatest challenge of 90+% of these crypto startups can be summarized in one word: users. Unless they can get people to utilize their platforms, they will fade away and become irrelevant. I'm interested to see who is still here at the end of 2019. The greatest challenge of, oh, look, I wrote it down twice. Ha 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 ha. Anyway, so no, that's a great point. It's a great point in terms of people building businesses around Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. It's also a great point with cryptocurrencies themselves. They need users. They need holders, okay? They need, first of all, which cryptocurrencies are being used right now? Really? Which ones are really being used for transactions? Monero, Bitcoin, maybe, who knows? Maybe Bcash. I don't know. No, I mean, people say no one uses Bcash at all. I don't know. But in terms, and holding, using it as a store of value, you hoarding it. Are any other cryptocurrencies really hoarded besides Bitcoin? No. So we're gonna, for these cryptocurrencies to survive, they're gonna have to have some. People are gonna have to use them in some way, whether it be holding it or using it for transactions or whatever. That's very obvious. But also, we needed that reminder from this dude that these businesses that are being built on top of cryptocurrencies, being built on top of Bitcoin, they're going to have users very, very soon. I mean, to survive what's going on right now, this is, you got to be pretty hardcore to start a business right now in cryptocurrency with all the FUD that's going around. So it will be interesting to see who survive. A lot of people won't survive. It'll be the end of 2019. A lot of companies won't survive. But I do encourage people to start them. There are going to be more and more of them coming up. Obviously, the ICO trend was a way to start supposed companies that never even started. So there's another thing. How many of them actually get off the ground? Okay, but yeah, users. Let's see. And that's the next step. I mean, one of the next steps in cryptocurrency. Let's get some new people in here that aren't just in it to flip altcoins. Let's get people who are going to build unique things on top of Bitcoin. Again, I was talking tonight with the people in Tel Aviv at the beginning of the internet, or in the 90s, or even 2000. You could not envision social media. I mean, that wasn't, you couldn't envision Twitter. So there are going to be some unique things built on top of Bitcoin. Some of them aren't going to get any users though, and they'll be They'll disappear, just like so many of those .com companies did in the past. All right, enough of that. So Stefan Livera, who has been on my show before, he has a tweet, and this is a great one Bitcoin show type of tweet because it's all about getting that first Bitcoin. As Bitcoin goes through bear / sideways markets for a few years, consider that this may be one of the last times you can become a whole coiner or a one coiner, whatever you want to, however you want to say. And that was actually in reply to the real VJ, who's also been on my show. Both of these dudes are native Australians. Represent Australia. Remember that at most 0.2%, 0.27% of the world can even become a whole coiner. So yeah, if you think this is a bear market, and I don't value my wealth in fiat at all, so I don't care if it's a fiat bear market, whatever you want to call it. If you this is your time, no more excuses. You said one Bitcoin was expensive beforehand. It's much easier for you to get one Bitcoin than it was beforehand. That cannot be denied. So again, the name of the show is the One Bitcoin Show. It's all about getting that one Bitcoin, then getting that second Bitcoin, then third, then 10, then 50, then 100, then whatever. Okay, so the crypto dividend Brhodium, that one that you got airdropped to you back in, what was it, January? There are many of you who've watched this show who, like when I talk about the crypto dividend, because I like crypto dividends because you get them for free. And then you turn them into Bitcoin, the BGold, the B private, and the Brhodium, of course. The Brhodium was an airdrop one that you had to sign up for. So some of you have this Brhodium sitting around. I'm bringing this up because the P2P B2B.io exchange, which is like one of the top 35 exchanges in the world, they're going to list Brhodium. So if you got Brhodium and you've been asking me, like, how can I sell this stuff? Well, soon this exchange is going to be listing Brhodium so you can turn it into Bitcoin or do whatever you're going to do. Anyway, crypto dividends, the friendly forks, the friendly airdrops. I'm a fan. If you get them I'm all about getting more Bitcoin. I value my wealth in Bitcoin. So if someone's going to give me a free altcoin, I'm going to turn it into some Bitcoin. Okay. And it's all about increasing that Bitcoin stash. And it's unique. If you think you got a unique altcoin, you got a unique altcoin concept, I'm not into killing your altcoin. If you want to distribute it in a unique way, go the crypto dividend route. Do an airdrop, do a fork of Bitcoin, do whatever you're going to do. Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. One Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. Bitcoin's the real Bitcoin. I don't care what you call your Bitcoin. I don't use the name, but when you call your altcoin something Bitcoin, I don't call it that. I call it Brhodium, BGold, Bcash, because I'm not going to deal with that. But that's just me. Okay, so, but no, like BGold, that was a friendly fork. It wasn't a threat to Bitcoin or anything like that. It was a compliment to Bitcoin. It's a compliment when these coins do Bitcoin crypto dividends. They know the only way they're going to get popular is that they, jump on to the Bitcoin brand. Good for them. They know that Bitcoin is the next Bitcoin. They're not the next Bitcoin. Okay, so who is this here? BTC Seminar tweets. This is good. This is personal responsibility as a new counterculture right here. This basically is what he's saying. What I really like about Bitcoin is it was a personal decision I made to enter the space. If it doesn't work out, and should I swing around to point a finger at someone to blame, there's going to be no one there. I like that. I like it a lot. Hold on, comrades. This dude is awesome. This dude's awesome. He's willing to say, I got into this. I got into this because of me. And if it fails, it's because of me. I have no one to blame but myself. But it's not. Have a strong hand, dude. Speaking about failure, I've spoken about, there are going to be altcoins that are going to die eventually. There is one that has already died. Back in 2016, there was a coin. Originally it was called Vanilla Coin. Then they called it Vcash, not Bcash, but Vcash. And I can't make that joke. I don't want to get demonetized. So the Vcash, they had a mysterious leader who actually quit. And when he quit, the price went down a lot, but it didn't die right away. And that's another reason why you can't have a centralized leader, because if they quit, everyone gives up on your coin. It becomes worthless. It's a weak point. But anyway, they had this. He didn't seem all there. He was a smart guy. Anyway, that's not the point. This Vcash has disappeared. It's gone. It's over. It's dead. It is dead. Now, maybe some of you can correct me out there, but to me, their Twitter, they're not on CoinMarketCap anymore. It doesn't seem anyone's mining. It's gone. It's dead. Yeah, and their leader, he went by the name John Connor. Anyway, that's some classic altcoin flashback for you. But the point of bringing it up is that it's gone. It's dead. It died. There'll be more. And it was on like the first page of coin. It was a top 100 altcoin. It wasn't like some 8th tier one. It was like a 3rd or 4th tier altcoin. And it's gone now. So I hadn't heard of any others that have straight up died like that were that big at one time. So I thought I would bring that up. I hadn't thought about that for a while, and I don't even remember why I thought about that recently. All right, so here is a tweet. Oh, this is interesting. I think this guy was kind of down when crypto bull. I don't know what the exact point he was trying to make here, but I'm going to make my own point. In December last year, Bitcoin pumped $3,500 in one day. That's a move bigger than the current value of one Bitcoin in one day. So some people will be like, "Oh, that sucks. It's not even worth that much anyway." First of all, value your wealth in Bitcoin. One Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin. But for me, this tweet brings up one of my other lines. It's all cyclical. It'll happen again. It'll happen again. There will be, and I've said another one of my lines. There'll be days when it goes down by $2,000. There'll be days when it goes up by $2,000. And there was a day that it went up by $3,500. There'll probably be a day when it goes down by $3,500. There will be another day when it goes up by $3,500 for all you fiat freaks out there. So yeah, it's interesting to say, yeah, it went up by $3,500 a day. It's not even worth $3,500 now. Yeah, I mean, you're just taking a one day. You're taking a very small snapshot here. You're on one day here. We're going to look back on this day and laugh one day. I mean, yeah, of course, there are going to be big movement days in the future when Bitcoin is worth a lot more in fiat. But again, the point is you value your wealth in Bitcoin. Get as many Bitcoin as you can right now when they're on sale in terms of fiat. And here is a story that was shared with me from someone who is from Baltimore, actually. This is an amazing story. I only learned about Bitcoin when my computer got hacked, and I had to pay 1.2 Bitcoin. And when I bought it on Coinbase, it wasn't released to transfer quick enough. So I hit a Bitcoin ATM I'm not going to name where he said it was. I got my computer fixed. And then for a year, I forgot about the 1.2 Bitcoin I had on Coinbase. The price I bought it at on Coinbase was $576 per coin. I kind of got lucky. And he went on to say, yep, they gave me the code to unlock the computer. I searched around, and most people say they would, because if they didn't unlock it, then no one would ever pay. Word gets around. So, I mean, I talked to this guy a little bit more. It was a business computer that got hacked, and they froze it. And they said, the only way we're going to let your computer go is if you send this 1.2 Bitcoin. And he needed, since it was a business computer, he needed it right away. He needed to do this. So he went into like learning mode very fast. And so he bought it on Bitcoin. He bought it on Coinbase 1.2, and he didn't get it right away, and he had to get it right away. So that's why he forgot about it, because he was just like, I got to get that one. So he went to the ATM and he got it. He sent it, and he forgot about that he owned 1.2 Bitcoin on Coinbase until much later when it was worth much more. So this story reminds us that, unfortunately, a real use case for Bitcoin is paying off hijackers, and that they actually do release your computer because they want to have the reputation. They don't want to be known as like, hey, we hijacked your computer and then we don't release it. No one will ever pay the ransom then. So these ransom things actually work. Don't get into the situation where you're hacked like this guy was. This guy also told me that if he wasn't in such a rush, he probably had some backups and could have recovered everything from his computer, but it was a business computer. He needed it immediately. It needed to be done right away. Now, this wasn't the best way to learn about Bitcoin, about holding Bitcoin, but it works. It worked for him, and it's amazing. A bad situation turned out very profitable for this guy. he ended up with 1.2 Bitcoin. So good for him. And yeah, this is going to happen again. People are going to be introduced to Bitcoin because of this. Because as you can see, people do pay the ransom. If people pay the ransom, there are going to be more people out there that are going to try to get ransoms and do horrible things like this. So yeah, it's an unfortunate use case of Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. But that's the beauty of Bitcoin, that bad people can use it also, and they can't be stopped. You can't be stopped also. It doesn't, your worst enemy can hold Bitcoin, and you can do nothing about it, but it will still help you by holding it. It does not, Bitcoin does not discriminate. It cannot, it's uncensorable. All right. Finally, final tweet I wanted to bring up. In the, this is from Crypto Ray. Everything's linked to below. Pound that like button. In the 80s, people thought that the proliferation of computers would lead to everybody learning how to program. It didn't. Similarly, I don't think that proliferation of Bitcoin will make everybody sound money maximalist. I thought that was a good comparison, because there's a lot of people that think that Bitcoin is just going to make everybody into a golden holder type of person. Into a, no, it's not going to make everybody into that. Some people are just going to use Bitcoin because it's the thing. It's the way you transact. It's the way you do X, Y, and Z. They're not going to become experts in it. It just, again, in the 80s, people thought that the proliferation of computers would lead to everyone learning how to program, and it didn't. Not everyone is but still, computers are very useful, aren't they? Not everybody's a programmer, but many people use computers for many different types of things. So no, we're not going to have a bunch of Bitcoin maximalists born to the world who understand sound money. Not everyone is going to become that, but it is still going to be a tremendous addition to those who opt into it. And I still think, that there are going to be plenty of people who aren't going to have anything to do with Bitcoin, who are going to be perfectly happy with their centralized Fed coins that are based on the welfare dollar, or whatever you want to say. All right, I'm Adam Meister, the Bitcoin Meister, the Disrupt Meister. Have a strong hand. Remember to subscribe to this channel, bang that bell button, click on those squares that you see right there to check out my some of my recent videos, and I'll say hi to you guys in the chat right now.